Wudong, Wudong, Wudong! I would be lying to your precious little faces if I said that I didn't completely forget that Wukong existed for the longest time. And don't you dare try to blame me! Can you even remember the last time that you saw Wukong in a public setting? Hydron doesn't count. Yeah, probably not often. And you know, this is for reasons that probably change depending on who you ask. Maybe some just don't like the fact that he can't do jack diddly squat. Or maybe it's because of his arguably weird model. Or maybe some don't like the fact that he has a glowing ass. But whatever the reason, I feel bad for Monkey Man. Not just because of his state in the game, but also because of his origin as a character. It sadly has been overshadowed due to his unpopularity. You see, I took the time to look into the history of Wukong, who, if you didn't know, is a major character of a much beloved Chinese tale called Journey to the West. And you know, I had no idea how popular this tale was until I actually started looking into it. Not because I found a ton of people raving about it like a recently released movie or something, no. It's because a lot of fantasy media nowadays have derived from it, and you can't get away from these references. This, obviously this, and a fuckload of other things I can't be bothered to list, all take major elements from either the story, Wukong as a character, or both. And I'll be honest with you, I can't blame them. I don't know if you've read a lot of these ancient tales that originate from Asian culture, but once you do, you're going to realize just how batshit crazy they are. So of course, people are going to want to take elements from these tales. So I've decided, on top of giving you the most authentic Wukong experience, I'm also going to be learning you some history. This is the Wukong experience. First thing I want to cover is just how short of a stick Wukong drew when it comes to damage scaling 1 abilities. Gaara, wide range, long reach, damage boosted by blasting enemies, swoosh! Korra, long reach, AoE blast at the end, damage boosted by ensnaring enemies. Wabah! Wukong!
That's fine!
Well, okay, to be fair, it doesn't always do that. Sometimes it actually works, and the damage is okay. Shame that it has terrible AoE. But let me tell you, if you were plopped into the middle of a firefight and told that your weapon only sometimes shoots out pellets of wadded up pubic hair instead of lead, you would not be blamed for attempting to kill enemies with your stupid hair energy tendrils instead. Oh yeah, and he also doesn't get any damage boost from using it alongside, say, his 4. Great job, D! You know, Journey to the West is probably one of the earliest forms of original character self-insert fanfics in the history of literature. And if you don't know what I mean, I'll just say this. A good chunk of the story is about Wukong being an absolute asshole, gaining over-the-top superpowers, and also fighting the ambassadors and armies of the Chinese major religions. That would be like if I wrote a story where a character I made up could kick the ass of both Jesus and all of his comrades. And that's not hyperbole, mind you. That's what happens in the story. Hell, in the story, the moment that Wukong is born, he shoots laser beams out his eyes into heaven. See, I couldn't make that shit up if I tried. And why don't we get that power here? The one game where laser eyes could be adequately explained because technology. We can't do that. But hey, I gotta give props to D in relation to Defy, though. Because did I mention that the dude is like triple immortal? By that, I mean in the story, Wukong encounters no less than 3 different forms of immortality. You see what I mean by original character fanfic? But honestly, that attribute that he has is adequately replicated in Warframe because, while Wukong doesn't have much going for him here, he does have one thing. He cannot die! Look, for the longest time, I always thought that Inaros was the tankiest frame. Yeah, even tankier than Rhino or Chroma. But when I got my hands on Wukong, my god! You know how people say, I could go make a sandwich in the time that it takes for X to happen, right? Well, here! I'm gonna throw myself into the sorty pit, then I'm gonna make me a sandwich, be right back, I bet you I won't be dead. I'm back. Do any of you like salami by chance? Let it be known, Wukong suffered an injustice when his 4 was designed. It is by far the weakest of the channeled weapon powers, and to be completely honest, it makes no goddamn sense. I've already mentioned before that Wukong's character is written like a child sandbox superhero who keeps gaining additional powers whenever another kid comes up with a weakness, and one of those many powers that Wukong has in the story is super strength, which, you know, is handy because of the staff he wields. Go ahead and take a guess how much it weighs. Maybe 5 pounds, 7 pounds, 10 pounds at most. It's a fucking stick, right? Yeah, a stick. A stick that just so happens to weigh 17,550 pounds! Fucking throw Atlas and Rhino into the trash at this point. Speaking of bad abilities, Cloudwalker. See, 2 other powers that Wukong has access to are flight and shapeshifting. Now, off the top of my head, Wukong can transform into 70 different things. Though, mind you, these are 2 different abilities. Wukong does not need to shapeshift into something that can fly. He can already do that in his base form. So, enlighten me, D. Why would an invincible monkey ever need to hide from anything, especially when he can just fly in his normal state? And to make matters worse, this is the worst form of invisibility in the game, bar none. You can't do fucking anything. Okay. Listen, D. Heed my words. Obey me, for I am in touch with this monkey. Take away Cloudwalker, and give him a Nimbus to ride on, and let him drive by staff people! That is the only way things can proceed. See, this is what bugs me a lot about Wukong in this game. He has a ridiculous toy box full of powers in terms of lore. He can turn a single strand of his hair into a clone of himself. Or hell! He can even turn it into a weapon. Why not? I mean, it's not like he has a brutal iron pillar that weighs over 17,000 pounds. Oh, wait! The monkey has, quote, eyes of truth, or golden gaze fiery eyes that let him, quote, see through evil, which I'm guessing in modern days would be X-ray vision. He can shapeshift into numerous different things, as we've already covered. So why in the name of fuck would you go with Mist? Yes, Wukong is often attributed to clouds, specifically flying on or with clouds surrounding him, but that doesn't mean he has to turn into a cloud unable to do anything! We're talking about a monkey. A monkey! A monkey that survived being smited by the gods above. The same monkey that kicked the ever-living shit out of Nausea. By the way, did you know that in some legends Nausea has the ability to spit rainbows? So, why not let Wukong transform into, I don't know, a robotic tiger, or dragon, or a somewhat rude YouTube comment, whatever you pick, it'll probably be better than the choice of a cloud when it comes to combat. Hey, so let's have a bet here, guys. Who thinks that Wukong will be forgotten about when they push through with the melee changes? You know, the ones involving the combo count and whatnot. Because yeah, if you'll recall, his passive is an increased combo duration, and his staff's length is also dictated by his combo count. So, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna be glossed over by DE, who will later come back and be like, oh shit, right, the monkey, and they'll have to throw out a hotfix that breaks everything else? Who knows? I gotta say, it's pretty ironic that a character as broken and as OP as Wukong in Journey to the West, with extremely few weaknesses, is represented as the opposite in this game. The dude has one very good strength here, survivability, but not much else. But in the end, Wukong isn't the worst. I mean, how could he be when he can't fucking die? How could he be when he quite literally pissed on the hand of a god? Oh yeah, did I fail to mention that? Yeah, in some versions of the story, Wukong has a PP on a worshipped and almighty god. Granted, he wasn't aware that he did that at the time, but it still goes to show that Wukong was written to be some godly equivalent. It's just a shame that it's not adequately replicated in-game. So, In the meantime, you'll have to make do with a one that will occasionally decide to work, an invisibility in which you get to do the exciting activity of slowly moving around and hitting enemies with what sounds and feels to be a hollowed out pool noodle. And if you're not okay with that, well, you can take that stick and shove it right up your, well, you know. And that is the Wukong experience.